What's going on, guys? My name is Julian Jung. I am one of your hosts of the Blockchain Brief, where every episode we are interviewing innovators and founders in the blockchain and crypto space. Today, I'm very excited to have Alex Khawaja, the CMO of Themis. Now, Themis is a decentralized Alipay in the digital currency world. Alex, it is fantastic to have you here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Julian.
So let's jump right into it. Would you mind introducing yourself, giving a quick background on you as well as some of the co-founders of the team?
Yeah, definitely. So my name's Alex Khawaja. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for Themis. To give you a bit of background as to what I've been doing post-graduation, for the last 10 years, I've been in financial services industry, starting off with corporate banking and equity derivatives, and now working with the Big Four. For a brief stint, I was actually an officer in the Royal Air Force. I've always been kind of interested in disruptive technology, what's going on in the space, whether that's blockchain, AR, VR. But with Themis, what they've been doing in the blockchain space has been fantastic, which has kind of drawn me to it. And hopefully I can show you why we're doing such an amazing job. Alongside me is the CEO, Dr. Mong. He is a PhD from Peking University. Fantastically knowledgeable person when it comes to the sphere, not only in cryptography, but internet architecture as well. Our Chief Product Officer, Evan Bian, he is great in terms of telecommunications engineering background, working with Ericsson. He went into the blockchain industry and he's been involved in a number of different products, which has just brought a rich experience to the team. And as you'll find with a lot of the team members, they do have PhDs, postdoctorals from some of the best universities around the globe, not just from China, not just from the UK, but even from universities like Yale, UCL, even Stanford and Columbia. And we have a great set of advisors that are helping us with the strategy, with the product itself, with the overall direction of Themis, which is overall helping us bring the best product we can to the community.
Fantastic stuff. So let's talk a little bit about the problem that Themis is trying to solve, right? And how big is that market exactly?
So essentially what Themis is trying to solve is the fair exchange problem. And what is the fair exchange problem is when it comes to OTC transactions or any transactions in general, is the buyer going to pay first or is the seller going to ship first? You don't really have that atomic swap situation going on. So what we came up with Themis is a blockchain-based fair exchange system that's providing not only a decentralized escrow service for cryptocurrencies or digital assets or even physical goods, but it also, as a value added, provides an arbitration service.
Got it. And so let's talk a little bit about how Themis solves that problem, right? And I think the one thing that I didn't have you address on that one was just how large is that marketplace, right? So why don't you sort of address the problem size, how big is that market piece, and then let's talk a little bit about how Themis addresses those issues.
So in terms of the marketplace, you find that the crypto market, for example, is you're looking at market cap of over 500 billion, 450 or to 500 billion currently. A lot of those transactions take place on exchanges, but the majority of those transactions are taking place OTC. And the reason for that is that you've got governments in certain countries that are banning exchanges between fiat and cryptocurrencies for their citizens. So what that's doing is it's actually driving these people onto the OTC P2P marketplace. And when you've got a strong demand for these kind of transactions, you also have an issue when it comes to counterparty trust. And that's what Themis is addressing there. Another issue that Themis addresses as well is the exchange between cryptocurrencies and physical goods. Fair exchange problem. Do you deliver first or do you pay first? Especially when you're doing transactions cross-border.
So for our viewers here, would you mind kind of explaining what OTC is and sort of what is the difference between that as opposed to just going to an exchange currently?
So an OTC exchange is an over-the-counter exchange. So that's, for example, where you're, if I was going to be selling a certain amount of cryptocurrency, I would be looking for someone through means that weren't the traditional means. So such as, for example, I'd be looking for people who are through my network list or friends of friends or through different means like Facebook or other social medias. Traditionally, people go to exchanges, but people don't have that third-party trust in exchanges due to high-profile hacks in the past, such as Mt. Gox, or during key trading times, exchanges seem to go down, which leads people not to have that counterparty trust. But then also when you're doing P2P or OTC exchange transactions, you don't really know who, in most instances, who you're doing the transaction with, who that counterparty is. And that's where Themis comes in to provide that counterparty trust with the escrow system.
So for large OTC desks right now, like how are they currently doing it, right? And so why would I decide to do OTC as opposed to, again, doing it on a public exchange?
So large desks, so you'll find a lot of the bulge bracket banks at the moment, although they're not overtly claiming that they are trading in crypto, they are doing a lot of brokerage with their cryptocurrencies OTC. And they're using other mediums such as social medias or Skype, Telegram, for example. And the reason that they're doing that is that, one, they don't want their clients' information to get out there. They want to remain truly anonymous. But another thing is that these transactions that are taking place are so large that the exchanges can't handle them in certain instances. We're talking tens to hundreds of millions of dollars in transactions in just one go. Another thing is that with those transactions, because they're so large, they have the potential to impact the market to the detriment of their clients, which is why they then go ahead and do OTC transactions.
Got it. And so other than OTC, are there any other sort of high profile use cases that sort of you guys envision for Themis?
So again, you've got the peer-to-peer aspect of it. We're also trying to promote the arbitration service that Themis does provide when it comes to the transactions, which gives anyone who's doing a P2P or OTC transaction that peace of mind that whatever happens, that their overall investment or their stake is going to be safe.
Very good stuff. All right, so let's jump right into the token, right? Like, why did you guys decide on building your own blockchain? And then walk me through the life cycle of the token utility from, the consumer perspective as well as the OTC side of it as well.
So the token that we have is the global escrow token. It's the GET token. It's the utility token that we use on the Themis chain. And the way that we use it is you can use it as a deposit or a generation of reward for participants in the Themis chain. So to give you an example, traditionally what's been has happened or what's been used in the past is a delegated proof of stake algorithm. What Themis has gone ahead and done, and what the team have done, is just fantastic. They've created a new consensus-based algorithm called a deposit-based proof of stake and reputation algorithm. And here we consider two key factors. We've got the reputation of the peers, as well as the deposit that the peers put forward to become a delegate in a mediation or an arbitration. So if a peer wants to be a delegate, like I said, he has to pay that deposit in advance. And the reason for that is that if the peer acts maliciously or in a way that is to the detriment of the Themis chain and the entire community, that deposit is then confiscated by Themis chain. However, on the flip side, if the delegate's acting in a way that benefits Themis chain and keeps the system running, then they're rewarded with the GET token. Another instance in where the GET token is used is when, say, two participants are conducting a transaction, want to engage the Themis chain for the escrow address or the arbitration service, they would provide the GET token to get that escrow address.
And so talk to me a little bit about how far along you guys are, right? Like in terms of prototype, testnet, partners that are planning to use you guys for OTC instead of sort of the other methods that we were discussing, just anything that you can talk about in terms of progress as well as milestones.
So in terms of the testnet's going to be released at the end of the month. It's out there, it's working. The developers have been doing fantastic work with it. Going forward, we're looking at releasing the mainnet this year. In terms of what we're doing at the moment, it's fantastic work. We're creating our own OTC marketplace to help people and to kind of bring more people into the crypto space. At the moment, we're also partnered up with Anyfish, which is an app in China, a lot like WeChat. A lot of Chinese nationals will know that Anyfish also has the added value of the GPS location. So say, for example, someone was selling a certain amount of crypto, they could use the GPS locator to find someone else who was looking to buy that amount of crypto or buy another amount of crypto. So by implementing ourselves within Anyfish, we have ourselves an audience already who can see the value that Themis is bringing. But then it's also the arbitration service, the counterparty trust service that we're bringing into the app. Again, we're working with a lot of big name investors who were early keystone investors in Themis. So Shenbo, who's the co-founder of Fenbushi Capital, which, as you probably already know, Julian, is the biggest blockchain VC firm in China. He was our cornerstone investor, alongside a few other VC firms like Happy East Capital, whose founder is Yang Ling, also founded BTC China, Genesis Capital, even Feng Shui Capital. So we've got a lot of VC firms from across the globe, but not only that, we've got a lot of retail, high net worth individual investors from across the globe as well. And so, yeah, a lot of what we're doing is getting our name out there, getting the name into the community, and just getting Themis working for the community.
Great stuff. And so I know that you guys decided to cancel your ICO, right? Kind of walk me through a little bit why you guys decided on that.
Well, Julian, as I've been saying, the community response that we've been getting has been so great. It's just been fantastic. When it came to the private pre-sale for our strategic partners, we found that the response that we were getting, the demand that we were getting for Themis and the GT token was just fantastic, that we didn't really need to go ahead with an ICO. And like I mentioned, we've got Shenbo from Fenbushi Capital, a lot of VC firms. But we reached our hard cap of 22,000 ETH in next to no time. But that's not to say that people can't get involved in Themis now. We're listed on HitBTC alongside Cybex, and we've just been voted on to Hadex, which, as many of your viewers will know, is part of Huobi. And again, that's down to the votes from the Themis community to get it listed onto Hadex. So thank you very much to the community out there, and thank you very much for believing in what we're trying to achieve.
Great stuff, Alex. So I want to sort of prepare to sign off here. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our viewers, as well as anything else that anybody could do to contribute if they're looking to?
So like I say to any viewers, 100% reach out to any one of the team members, whether that's on Telegram or whether that's via email. Go on the website, have a look at the white paper. But more importantly, if you want to get involved in what we're trying to achieve and what we're doing, have a look at the apps that I've mentioned, like Anyfish. Have a look at the testnet that's been released. Have a look when the mainnet comes out. But more importantly, just reach out, because we're doing so much work in the community. We're always active in the Telegram groups. We're always active in the WeChat groups. If you go to the website, at the bottom are the links to all the socials that we're active on, and we're always happy to engage.
Fantastic stuff. Alex, thank you so very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. We look forward to tracking your progress.
Thank you very much, Julian.